I think I need a nap. Oh, yeah, it's Tuesday. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, Doe?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a good Tuesday so far and a good week ahead of you. Busy day, busy, as all the days are now for me, but that's nothing new. So, Satsu, how are you?
Pretty good. Went to the grocery store with my little one and the wife. We bought a whole bunch of healthy food to stock our fridge with, so that way I can get us together for the week, because we were just running low on food, and then we ended up having to throw away a bunch of junk and shit that we had just laying around, because that's what we buy, or bought at least. So it's been a pretty good day. Aaliyah's been cool, squishy. Didn't have a horrible day at work. It's just a pleasant day overall.
Before the stream, thank you, Point Curation. Hope it's been a decent-ish day, or even a good one. Well, same to you, Point, at the very least. I hope it's been a great day. A great big day. Yes. And thank you, Okie Native. So I heard there was free poppy derivative here. No. That's morphine, not morphin time. This is morphin time, not morphine time. You see, I got that joke. I understood that reference.
It's morphin time, not morphine time.
That's right. Let's see. One thing I did want to bring up real quick before we get into everything else. There was a tweet today from, Knight of Charlemagne, who just wanted to let everybody know that, let me read it here. I have had my spinal surgery 18 months after my accident, and I'm 1 week into my physio, and boy, I'm a new man, feel 21 again. Thanks to everyone who supported me and donated to my rehab. I can't say enough. Love you all. And he made sure to tag MSS News. And it just reminded me, and I will be all Hallmark card in saying so, how much I appreciate the fact that our audience is a community unto themselves in the chat and beyond the show, in supporting each other when times are tough and celebrating when times are good. And I just want to say I appreciate you all for that. And it's a humbling thing to watch happen sometimes, especially when we have somebody who needs a little help with a fundraiser or has had something bad happen, and all the well wishes and everything. So thank you guys. And of course, congratulations to Knight of Charlemagne. For those of you that don't know, Knight of Charlemagne is the person responsible for my avatar. As the story goes, lo and behold, long ago, I used the Wanderer Above the Sea Fogg painting, which is public domain, so I don't have to worry about it, as my avatar. And I would muse often on shows and things that someday I'd like a version of the painting where I'm in profile, so something a bit more custom for my channel. And then one day I just get this email, and there's this absolute masterpiece that looks so true to the original. I've had people confuse my avatar with the real thing, and it's a credit to him for his talent in that, and I appreciate it. And he gave it to me free of charge to use as I will, and I've always will always appreciate that. So good luck to him. Glad he's doing better, and again, thanks to you all. So I'm roboting a little again. Am I?
I'm not really hearing it, although my volume's not as high as it usually is. So
okay, well, that's going to be very disappointing, because earlier this morning, like midnight or something, all the internet in my territory was shut down, supposedly for enhancement maintenance. So presumably, if the advertising is true, and God knows it might not be, I have stronger internet now than I did yesterday.
Did you do a test?
But time will tell.
Did you do a speed test?
New, but I don't know that I'd know how to compare today to yesterday because I don't know what I was getting yesterday. So, but anyway, so if I'm roboting, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Anyway, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button if you have not already, and I can see several of you haven't. So, okay. And please share our stuff. Share it far, wide, sideways, and otherwise. Let's see. Do I have a channel to recommend today? What have I been watching lately? I think I probably mentioned this before, but just in the case I haven't. That Chapter. If you like true crime, look up the channel That Chapter, hosted by Mike the Irishman. I don't think that's his actual nickname, but that's, for really great little produced videos about true crime stuff and mysteries and things. And there you go. He doesn't need any help from me for subscribers, but if you're interested, go take a look. Anything else before we move on, Satsu?
Nah, bruh.
All right. And I left my phone in the other room and it's beeping, and I want to stop it from keeping the beeping. So I'm going to go get it. I'll be right back.
Oh, no. I'm left alone with these people. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Mash, Golf, Septus, Oki, Spud Gun, WR Costin, Attack Alpaca, Mike R, Mash, Golf City, Peterbilt. I've learned to not just say Golf City because there's a bunch of Golf City.
Oh yeah, no, it's like a little tribe now. Yeah, if I don't turn off that thing every 2 minutes, it'll just start beep 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 beep. Like, oh god. So it's doing its job, alerting me to what's going on. But anyway,
I didn't get to everyone, but hi guys.
Oh, sorry. Were you listening? Oh, doing all the hellos? I apologize.
Yeah,
I cut in
that out real quick.
All right, well, finish up.
No.
Well, I don't want to leave anybody out. I don't know where you left off. Go.
I don't either.
Oh, for crying out loud.
As soon as you came back.
Oh, fine. All right. Well, guys, moving on to the wonderful world of the news. The clock is running. Biden and his White House sharpen their strategy to confront epic challenges. Okay. Joe Biden's presidency is only 6 months old, but the mood inside the White House can often feel like a race against time. Well, you wanted the job. Now you got it. Quote, the clock is running. We all know that, a senior advisor to Biden said, whatever the hell that means, speaking on condition of anonymity. The president certainly knows that. That is the most, meaningless statement ever when you're running a nation. The clock is running. Of course, the clock's until the sun turns into a red giant and envelops the entire earth. Yes, the clock is always running, even after that. Biden has 3.5 years remaining in his term, but his senior advisors speak frequently about the sense of urgency facing his presidency. Yeah, because he's probably going to start having health failure problems in the next 6 months, and then we'll have President Harris pretty quick. With the next year almost certain to be dominated by midterm elections that could take away the Democratic majorities in Congress, he needs to pass his agenda. He can't even pass his agenda now. And you think the Democrats are all going to be on board if they do get some kind of majority? Come on. You've got a lead in the House. You've got the vice president to take over the Senate, and you guys still can't get anything done. Well, and is it any wonder? Do you not take it as a sign that our Congress is so relatively evenly divided that maybe your agenda is not that popular with the majority of the country? In West Wing meetings lately, White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain has impressed upon aides the critical importance of the next few weeks. I would think every day is important when you're running the country, but what do I know? Recognizing the stakes, Biden and his team are sharpening their strategy to confront an epic set of challenges that some of his allies fear could impart lasting political damage. COVID cases are spiking. Inflation is up. Yeah, why is that, by the way? Border crossings are rising. Yeah, why is that, by the way? The Taliban are taking over Afghanistan. Well, that's Afghanistan. And a much-touted bipartisan infrastructure agreement is teetering on the brink. Well, it's not much bipartisan, is it?
It's also not much infrastructure.
No, it's not. Not real infrastructure. Now, the Afghanistan part, we talked about this before. Pulling out of Afghanistan, either we're going to stay there forever and act as the insulation against a country and a people and a culture that is just going to have to work their own problems out because they're a sovereign nation, kind of, or we bring our people home because it's pretty much a waste of our, as they say, blood and treasure. So, like I said, there's no happy answer to something like that. So, and all the other ones, though, the border crossings are rising. Inflation is up. Well, that's his fault, isn't it? COVID cases are spiking. Why is that? If Biden never had a honey... Well, like I said last night, I couldn't hold him to account for things that are beyond the control of any mortal person. So as far as COVID cases are spiking, well, it's either that it's just a very communicable disease to begin with, and or the Delta variant is getting through the vaccinations, because so far they can do that. But as far as inflation, border crossings, those are all within the realm of mortal control. And don't tell me that he hasn't had a hand in the effects of inflation and border crossings recently.
Oh, that's Trump's fault.
Yeah, it's all Trump's fault. If Biden ever had a honeymoon period after inheriting a raging global pandemic, there is a good argument he did not. It is clear at the 6-month point of his presidency that it is over. Well, he took his sweet time to actually address the nation after becoming president. And, he's not required to, but he was practically nowhere to be seen for the first several months of his presidency, not or heard from in the public or by a press conference. So if he was going to try to, I don't know, bask in the afterglow of the honeymoon period, he kind of just let it lapse. So that's all on him and his aides, I figure. Actually, mostly probably his staff, because they control everything he does, apparently. At the White House and on the road, the president has begun adopting a more aggressive stance against Republican and other critics, including on voting rights and the Afghanistan withdrawal. The administration recently launched an offensive against vaccine disinformation. Health false data. Since I don't know what's going to set off the algorithm, it believes is helping to drive current global health crisis cases among the unvaccinated, inadvertently sparking a tiff with Facebook. Inadvertently? Whoa! 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 No. This wasn't like some sidewise collateral damage thing. He came out and said Facebook is killing people.
He literally said Facebook is murdering people.
This is inadvertently?
Inadvertently.
Who wrote this? Who wrote this garbage? Kevin. Oh, it takes 3 people to write this. Okay, Kevin Liptak, Phil Mattingly, and Jeff Zeleny. Jeff Zeleny. Oh yeah, Jeff Zeleny. I had a little tiff myself with Jeff Zeleny. Inadvertently sparking a tiff with Facebook. Wow, that's.
I am of the belief that every journalist over at CNN got a lobotomy recently.
And Biden himself plans to focus. Biden himself? Who else would it be? Plans to tighten his focus in coming weeks on popular elements of a sweeping legislative agenda that hangs in the balance, according to officials, hoping to sway Americans in red-leaning areas. What popular elements? And not being facetious, I don't know what the popular elements are. And you're not going to tell us. Okay. Still, internal divides persist among officials in some fraught areas like immigration and global health issue reopening plans, with heightened debate over how single decisions could resonate politically. That's how politics. Heightened debate over. Again, I feel like I'm back in the worst news article I ever read thing, where Sinatra has to remind us that, the audience for an article like this is probably for people that don't understand the basics of politics or something. That's the only explanation I come up with.
I guess.
Is that this is, I don't know. And Biden's penchant for going off script. Oh, is that what we're calling it? Not gaffes anymore? Or senior moments? Has thrown his team into cleanup mode at multiple points so far. Yeah, you mean like the one where he said Facebook is murdering people? The inadvertent tiff he sparked? For all of his focus on returning a semblance of normalcy to the presidency, Biden has now entered the familiar territory of his predecessors, a period of uncertainty and events transpiring far outside of best-laid plans. You wanted the job. This is the job. You You squandered your honeymoon period by not communicating at all with the country and keeping everything under wraps, which was your prerogative, and nobody said you had to. There's no law that said you had to do a State of the Union type address or anything, or address Congress. But you didn't have a full press conference for what, the first 3 months of the year, or something like that? I mean, now he and his team manage those events. Now he and his team manage those events will have... What? Oh, sorry. I misread. My apologies. How he and his team manage those events will have repercussions beyond a single piece of legislation or foreign policy decision. You don't say. God, I feel like I'm being talked down to here.
I'm telling you, dude. It's like, I don't know.
It says nothing. It says absolutely nothing. It's like, did you know decisions made by the most powerful administration on the planet, politically speaking, wealth speaking, militarily speaking, will have repercussions that may be unforeseen? And do you know that small decisions can cause big changes?
And also, too,
film at 11.
Just like the, I don't know, is sophistry the right word? Where they're just...
No, it's not sophistry. I'd call it pablum. It's just... Yeah, sophistry is sort of like something that sounds smart and like it means something. I mean, they're not wrong, right? This is all sort of just basic common sense thinking about how the world works, but it's put into, I don't know, journalistic language to make it sound... It's filler. This is just filler. It doesn't tell us anything.
This sounds like I don't know if you've ever been to like a little kid's sports game where like all the criticism and everything about what's going on is very, it's just like they're kids, like, yeah, they gotta deal with this stuff. Yeah. Oh, look, this thing is about to happen. He's gonna have to figure this. Like this is what it sounds like every time they talk about Biden and Harris. It's like we're watching a little league game and they're just trying to be as nice as possible and not say anything bad about them at all, and just try to say encouraging things or make sure to reinforce them to let them know this is gonna be tough, bud, but you got it.
I don't know how many little league games you've been to, but that is not what happens.
Really? I mean,
no. You know, okay. You know, toddlers and tiaras and those moms who got so crazy psycho about getting their girls in competition and like undercutting all the other girls and everything. Yeah, you ever been to a t-ball game with a bunch of parents who want to see their kid be the superstar? Yeah, no, it's not.
Well,
I'm
talking about the announcers, not the parents. The parents.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were comparing me to being a like angry parent in the stands and yelling at small children, and the small children were the CNN reporters.
No.
That's where you're going. It's like, man, you are just tearing down people who just can't defend themselves. Like, oh,
no, I was talking about how the media talks about them as opposed to like,
The coming weeks will play a considerable role in defining the success of the Biden presidency.
No,
the next 3 years will be doing that as well. If you don't know,
no, that's bullshit. There is nothing that Biden can do that will "quote unquote" define Biden's presidency, because the media is going to define Biden's presidency. It doesn't matter what he does; the media is going to tell the narrative, and everything he does is going to be, like I said, just like this.
Well, but here's the other thing, too, is that you cannot know what's going to happen a week, a month, a year from now. If some gigantic crisis happens in the last year of Biden's presidency that overshadows everything else, then that will define his presidency. This is just filler. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this last paragraph, and then I'm stopping because none of this says anything about anything. The coming weeks will play a considerable role in defining the success of the Biden presidency, particularly whether the White House is able to keep a bipartisan coalition together on the first piece of his infrastructure plan and keep Democrats united on a broader package that would dramatically remake the nation's social safety network by touching all facets of American life. Okay, you just use that as the final thing. So, A, he does not have control over his own party, because otherwise the House and the Senate in total would be a lock, and the Senate is not in a lock over the infrastructure plan, even on the Democratic side. Okay, so he's not really the leader of his party. And all the promises that he made previously about his relationships across the aisle over decades of service, yada, 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 have done jack all to overcome the divide.
Nope.
Okay, so his presidency, the success of his presidency relies on the midterm elections going so far into the Democrats' favor that there's just no argument. There's no argument at all, and they can overcome the few Democrats who are on the fence, like Manchin and the lady whose name I'm Kristen Sinema. Those kind. That's it. That's the only thing that's going to allow Biden to get anything of substance done in his agenda. Whether you agree with it or not, that's the only math that's going to matter. So, insofar as doing everything they can to drum up as much support for the Democrats in the primaries, or the midterms coming up, that is vital for them. They have to do that. If they cannot break the deadlock in the Senate specifically and get more seats in the House to make sure they have a set majority, it's going to be just, slog along for 3.5 years as far as his agenda is concerned.
It seems like they don't really know how to write a story if they're not slandering somebody.
Well, I mean, you could whittle down this entire article, I think. If I read this whole thing, which I'm not going to now, just look at the size of this. Most of it is just repetitious fluff. And if there was anything of substance in here, it took 3 people to write this. Like, there's nothing. Anyway, I'm going to move on because we have other things we can talk about. More important things, like smoke. Wildfire smoke from the West's massive blazes stretches all the way to the East Coast. Yeah, so because of, at least in part, a lack of land management on the part of California and Oregon specifically right now, people on the other side of the country are suffering and choking down their failures.
I think you mispronounced because of Trump.
Oh, sorry. The massive bootleg fire in Oregon has scorched an area larger than Los Angeles, and it's only 30% contained. The fire is so large and is burning so hot that it's creating its own weather. It's just one of the many blazes raging in the West. The National Interagency Fire Center is watching 80 large fires across 13 states this week, a testament to just how destructive the U.S. wildfire season has become. And the effects of the fires stretch all the way to the East Coast. Extraordinary plumes of wildfire smoke are billowing out of these massive complexes, reaching so far up into the atmosphere that they are being carried thousands of miles east by high-level winds. And I am just dreading the day when the jet stream shifts, and just like last year, I just end up inundated with it and end up having to lock myself in my apartment, hermetically seal myself in for a week, because that was terrible. And I can't even imagine. And I have nothing but sympathy for anybody who's being affected by this, because I know how terrible it freaking is. The last 2 years particularly have been awful. While heavy smoke is making air quality hazardous in the West, it's also creating eerie skies over the Midwest and Northeast. All of the ingredients are in place for an exceptionally dangerous season: historic drought, extreme heat in early summer, and snow drought exacerbated by a dry, wet winter and hot spring. Not only that, but people with breathing problems to begin with. I mean, people that I know who have asthma when it was all bad here. I mean, and we're also getting some gain humming from you, Satsu.
Let me turn this down a little bit. Is that good?
Oh! Ah! No, that's not. That's the opposite of good.
Yeah, this thing is doing whatever. No, fuck.
Ah! I'm not really kidding when I go because the sound in my earphones just spikes up through the roof whenever his gain goes all wacky or something. So yeah, every time that his volume goes up, it just like digs right into my eardrums. It just I don't know what's going on with his mic, but yeah, we got to get that figured out. Eerie scenes in the east. Even as fog cleared Tuesday morning around the Great Lakes and along the East Coast, it was still hard in sunshine as a thick blanket of wildfire haze hung in the sky. Quote, in areas where skies are clear, thick smoke aloft is limiting sunshine, with no discernible sunrise visible at our office earlier this morning, despite practically clear skies, wrote the National Weather Service in office in Albany, New York. And look, we have a little animation. Look at it. Ooh, look at how pretty, well, kind of pretty it is. Smoke. There were a few clouds in the Northeast on Tuesday morning, but the smoke, carried on a 3,000-mile trip across the country, created a hazy start to the day. Ugh. And that's over the course of like 4 hours, apparently. Yikes. In some areas, the smoke has reached the ground level where it can be a health concern. It's a health concern, even. Air quality alerts have been issued hundreds of miles from the flames as far east as Pennsylvania and New York. Quote, wildfire smoke could reach its peak concentration over Pennsylvania on Tuesday afternoon, and some near-surface smoke contribute to another day of hazy conditions, the National Weather Service in State College, Pennsylvania predicted. Oh, yeah, the wildfire smoke creates crazy, weird skies, but it's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So, yeah, again, nothing but sympathy for everybody who's being affected by this, and I really, really hope that it stops soon, but I don't know. Do I still have a co-host, or is this microphone going to prevent us from speaking again?
I don't know. I'm done raging, though, so
okay.
We'll see what happens.
All right, well, we shall find out. Have you been following the Olympics at all, Satsu?
No, not really.
Well, every time I see a story about the Olympics, it's another story about how somebody is either not going to compete or deciding not to compete. I see more stories about people who are leaving the Olympics or being prevented from playing in the Olympics than actual Olympic stories. And it's happened again. 6 Polish swimmers sent home from Tokyo following administration error.
Lovely.
6 Polish swimmers have had to return home from the Tokyo Olympics due to an administrative error by the Polish Swimming Federation. Quote, I would like to express my great regret, sadness, and bitterness at the situation, PZP Director Paweł Slaminski said in a statement released Monday. Oh, no. Alicia Chors, Alexandra Polanska, Metius Chałaniec, Dominika Kasakowska, Jan Holub, and Bartosz who were forced to return from Tokyo, called for the organization's entire board to resign immediately over the incident in an open letter addressed to the PZP director, Slaminski. So what administrative error would require them to come home from the Olympics if they already got there? Why not just say they're there? The open letter issued Sunday was signed by 16 other Polish swimmers and accused the PZP of not understanding FINA's regulations. Okay. Quote, recent incidents have destroyed the trust, Polish swimmers who returned home on Sunday said in the open letter. Quote, several of us have had to come back to Poland because of the neglect, and our dream of becoming Olympians has been taken away from us. Well, okay, what happened? The original Polish team comprised 23 members who traveled to Tokyo to take part in the Olympic Games. Quote, the actions of the association led to an unprecedented event in the history of Polish sport, the letter reads. They're going to tell us what it was. In addition, Polish swimming, both in the eyes of the public and potential sponsors, has been exposed as a laughingstock, and it will have a glaring effect on all competitors who compete in the white and red colors on a daily basis. Poland's Culture and Sports Ministry urged the PZB president to, quote, immediately submit explanations over the incident. I'd like an explanation of just what the fuck happened. But they're not saying.
I guess we're not entitled to that information.
Yeah, good job, CNN. Boy, oh boy, man, you can go for 5 or 6 pages on just filleting Biden, but on a story where, gosh, there's a scandal, you can't bother to do a little bit of foot leather work and find out the details?
I mean, there is a noticeable lack of brown in these people, so maybe it just wasn't that deep for them.
Good Lord. Man, journalism, guys, journalism. All right. And lastly, it wouldn't be a day and why if we didn't mention Donald Trump, or at least someone associated with him. Trump ally Tom Barrack jailed on charges of acting as an agent of a foreign government. Can we guess which foreign government?
China?
Possibly. I haven't read the article. I'm going to say it's either going to be Russia or Ukraine. I'm guessing. Tom Barrack, a former advisor to former President Donald Trump, was charged Tuesday with illegal foreign lobbying on behalf of the United Arab Emirates, or both wrong, for what federal prosecutors in Brooklyn described as an effort to influence the foreign policy positions of both the 2016 Trump presidential campaign and the subsequent incoming administration. Yes, because the UAE hasn't had a hand in politics in America for forever. Remember when you had like George H.W. George H.W. Bush as well, but George W. Bush holding the hand of the Arab Sultan, and even Obama walking around with what's his name? Okay,
Scribe.
I guess not to say that what this guy did is thus not illegal, depending on what the details are, but I mean, they don't have to work that hard to have an influence on foreign policy positions in this country, no matter who's president. They control the oil. Barrack was charged in a 7-count indictment with acting as an agent of the UAE between April 2016 and April 2018. He was also charged with obstruction of justice and making false statements to federal law enforcement agents. Barrack was the chairman of Trump's inaugural committee, and while some of the charged conduct concerns... Wait, what? And while some of the charged conduct concerns the presidential transition, okay, it appears unrelated to the inaugural festivities. So there is no connection between his activities and the Trump administration.
Nope.
He was the chairman.
Sounds like.
Yeah, he was the chairman of the inaugural committee. He wasn't some kind of cabinet position guy. But nothing of what he was up to had anything to do with anything he was associated with in the Trump administration. Okay, so why put Trump's name? Oh wait, so sorry. Yeah, why put Trump's name in the headline? Trump ally? Anybody who voted for him could be considered an ally if you wanted to stretch the truth enough. According to the indictment, Barrack, I don't know how to say it. Two men charged Tuesday, Matthew Grimes of Aspen, Colorado, and Rashid Al-Malik Al-Shani, probably should bring that up, the UAE national, capitalized on Barrack's status as a senior outside advisor to the Trump campaign to, quote, advance the interest of and provide intelligence to the UAE while simultaneously failing to notify the Attorney General that their actions were taken at the direction of senior UAE officials. Barrack was directly and indirectly in contact with the UAE senior leadership, according to the charges, and he referred to Al-Shani as its, quote, secret weapon, unquote, to promote its foreign policy agenda in America. I think the UAE's control or influence over the oil market might have more ability to promote foreign policy agenda in America. But what do I know? Okay. The indictment cites several instances of the defendant's alleged promotion of UAE's agenda to the Trump campaign. In May 2016, Barrack inserted language praising the UAE into a campaign speech about U.S. energy policy, then sent an advanced draft of the speech to Al-Shani to give to UAE officials, according to the indictment. In 2016 and 2017, Barrack, Al-Shani, and Grimes received talking points from UAE officials for Barrack's TV appearances in which he promoted the UAE's interests. Yeah, and boy, I'm sure this one guy's words on TV appearances of a guy I've never heard of before had just giant effects on how the country operates.
Of course it did.
I mean, if you can draw a line to me between him saying something in a speech or on TV to Trump going, yes, I will do that. Okay, but here's the thing. Unless he was saying it to Trump and Trump knew what he was doing and who he's working for, it's still not a direct connection to Trump. It's just propaganda that maybe he heard. Following one appearance, Barrack emailed Al-Shani, quote, I nailed it for the home team, unquote, referring not to the United States, but to the UAE, according to the charges. Okay. After Trump won the 2016 election, the defendants allegedly continued to push UAE interest at the direction of UAE officials. Okay. In December 2016, Barrack, Grimes, and Al-Shani attended a meeting with senior UAE government officials where Barrack told them to, quote, make a wish list of U.S. foreign policy items for the first 100 days of the incoming presidential administration, as well as for its first 6 months, year and 4 years. Yeah, I'm sure that guy was not just dropping names and making himself out to be more important than he actually was. I'm sure that wasn't the case.
Oh boy.
But anyway,
Like-
according to go ahead.
I feel like if they got a picture of Trump ordering coffee at Starbucks, they would call the person who served him coffee a Trump. Trump's personal barista.
All right. So the only thing that they'd have to prove to make this somehow a bigger scandal is if Trump knew they were working for the UAE and didn't care. Like if he knew they were mouthpieces for the UAE illegally and didn't care, and not just another set of lobbyists like there are DC's crawling with them who advocate for special interests all the time, whether they're foreign governments or not. Let's see. That March, an official from Saudi Arabia, a UAE ally, visited the White House, and the following day, Barak texted Al-Shani telling him that he had briefed Trump regarding the meeting. Okay. Barak also said he had arranged for another senior U.S. official to speak with the Emirati official with whom Trump had spoken shortly after the inauguration. Al-Shani replied, amazing. Okay. I mean, yeah, okay. This guy was working unregistered for a foreign entity. And, I mean, yeah, okay, he should be prosecuted if he broke the law. Okay.
Well,
Anyway.
like, as far if the story would have just been left as is, like this dude, he's a bad dude. He did some bad stuff. It's like fine, but the whole Trump is linked to this. I'm just like, well, I mean, I don't get why that's a major feature in your article.
Well, I mean, the fact that he was partaking in activities that were directly or indirectly associated with the White House and administration officials, that's relevant. Sure. That just shows the extent of the influence that he had and how far he was reaching up the ladder for his client, let's say. So that's relevant. But unless you can draw a line, like somehow this guy was either working for Trump or Trump was in on it or something, I don't know. And now, if you make the argument like, well, the Trump administration failed to vet the people involved in its organizations and things and could have found this if they'd looked. That might be an argument. You know, it's kind of a late argument since we're, 6 months into a new administration and, 4 years after the fact, but that might be an argument. But you notice how there is just so much detail in this story of who said what and who did what on what day for what thing.
It kind of feels like they did some investigative journalism.
I know. They look through the charging documents. They got a whole bunch of information. They report it to people. Man, guy, those Polish swimmers, I guess they just don't matter for that kind of thing. Anyway, guys, we're going to move on to the wonderful world of MSS News. So if you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSSNews. Can't promise to get to them all, but that's because I'm long-winded. Or because, unfortunately, people will send me links to articles I can't read because they want me to pay them money. So like the first Massive Dynamic stories from the Washington Post, and the Washington Post doesn't let me read more than one story a year or something. So, so we'll do this one from Massive Dynamics. Which is an archived story. Oh, goody. How old is this archived story? Just for my July 2nd. Okay, so it's not that old. From The Economist, which is the heading for the 1843 magazine, which I don't know what that is. American fried chicken has its origins in slavery, but a white man took the credit.
Oh, God.
Is this Colonel Sanders?
I guess.
People serve chimaek, I'm probably screwing that up, in Korea, fried chicken with beer. Okay. In Japan, you get karage. Karage, okay. Nuggets of chicken marinated in soy sauce and garlic before being fried in a coating of wheat flour. Start with a citrus-based marinade and you're on your way to Guatemalan fried chicken. America's Southern fried chicken is delicious, but it is not objectively better than any other iteration.
Okay. Who said it was?
It's not objectively better than any other iteration? Well, yeah, because taste is subjective. But
Like,
okay.
That's such a weird statement to make.
That is a bizarre statement to make. It is not objectively better. So, just so you know, we were going to name off all these other ways to fry chicken, but just so you know, America's not any better than anybody else's. Okay, great. Well, fine. Yet it is American fried chicken that of the American South, to be precise, which has taken over the world. No, okay. I think it's probably more an effective marketing and franchise campaign by Kentucky Fried Chicken to do that, or Chick-fil-A, depending on who you're talking about. So are you complaining that Guatemalan fried chicken doesn't have restaurants at every corner or something? The global. American fried chicken has taken over the world. Did you know that it became popular because of racism? That means the whole world's racist.
I guess so.
The global reach of Southern fried chicken is largely thanks to the efforts of a bearded colonel in a white suit and his secret blend of herbs and spices. But the dish's history is far older than the self-styled colonel and more fraught than his bland grin might. You don't say. Do you mean to tell me that a corporate mascot didn't actually invent or start the thing for which they are a mascot for?
See, and every time this happens, I have to do the same thing. Now we have to go around and ask a bunch of Americans, hey, did you know that Colonel Sanders didn't create fried chicken? And listen to them all say, well, obviously.
Satsu, did you know that a clown in a yellow suit didn't invent hamburgers?
Jesus Christ, these people are some fucking journalists. What is wrong with these people?
Satsu, did you know that tiny little elves that live in a tree didn't invent cookies?
Well, that one
and did you know that 3 little elfish things with varying costumes didn't invent puffed rice as a cereal?
Okay, now you're just blowing my mind with this new info.
I don't know what to, I don't. Did you know that Hershey's didn't invent chocolate? Guys, did you know this? I hope the algorithm doesn't get me. The origins of American fried chicken probably lie. Probably? Oh, well, great journalism. Okay, probably lies somewhere between Scotland and West Africa. So, are we supposed to be mad that the Scots aren't getting their due? Tailed feature. If you're out there, tailed feature, you need to cash in your Scottish privilege. The 145,000 odd Scots who made their way to the American South in the 18th century brought with them a tradition of battering and frying chicken. Okay. The almost 500,000 West Africans enslaved in North America brought a knack for frying and braising chicken from their own cuisines. It was these African Americans, many of whom were forced to work in the kitchens of slave plantations, who perfected the art of frying chicken. No, they didn't perfect anything. You just told us that American fried chicken is objectively no better than any other iteration.
Exactly. And then you also named off a bunch of other cultures that fry chicken in a very similar fashion.
So, with that being said, I'm going to say contradicts own point or argument, and I'm going to move on because this story's stupid.
Oh my God, these people are so fucking stupid.
So the Scottish people don't matter in this. Just as an aside, so you have to mention them, I guess, because they are part of history, and somebody point that out. But as soon as you mention them, they're forgotten.
Yeah. And then they just focus on the African, two groups of people. They both brought fried chicken over, but those Negroes, they made it perfect.
Except they couldn't have made it perfect because it's not perfect, because Guatemalan and Korean and Japanese fried chicken is just as good.
Yeah.
If not better.
Also, here's the thing. It's really weird because this article seems to be a takedown on American fried chicken. Yeah. Because of the fact that a white man is supposedly taking credit for it. Mm-hmm. But they're also telling us that, no, white people aren't responsible for it. Black people are. But it ain't really that great.
It was amazing. They start off by saying to us, the thing we're going to complain is being taken credit for by the wrong person is actually, at best, standard. Just so you know, It's no better than all these other cultures that have nothing to do with this story. But just okay.
By the way, you're also not supposed to associate fried chicken with black people because it's racist.
That's right. Okay. This one comes from Shawnee. Representative Eric Swalwell's campaign spent big on booze, limos, and wife's hotel, say records. Do you mean to tell me that a politician misspent campaign and or taxpayer funds on self-improvement or self-enrichment? No. Tell me about those Texas Democrats again. The campaign of Representative Eric Swalwell shelled out more than $500,000 during the second quarter of this year. The second quarter. In 4 months' time. $500,000. Satsu, in your regular day, if you just lived your life regularly, would you be able to blow $500,000 in 4 months? Sorry, 3 months. 3 months. A quarter. Sorry.
Definitely not in my regular life, for sure.
Yeah. And if you lived your regular life for 3 months, you'd have a hell of a lot left over of that $500,000, wouldn't you?
I'd have pretty much $500,000 left.
Yeah. Spending much of it on alcohol, fine dining, limo services, and the hotel where the congressman's wife works. Record check. He spent taxpayer money. Oh, wait, the campaign. So it's campaign funds? Oh, wait. So is this stuff coming from donors? Let's see. According to receipts filed with the Federal Election Commission, FEC, Swalwell for Congress spent $21,200 in 6 separate transactions this past April. That's a very exact number. At the Ritz-Carlton Half Moon Bay in Northern California. The California Democrats.
I'm sorry. How much in 6 transactions?
6 separate transactions that cost $21,200.75.
Good Lord.
I mean, I suppose if the hotel rates are consistent, then I guess that would explain why it's that specific a number. The California Democrat's wife, Brittany, has worked at the hotel as its director of transient sales since February of 2015, according to her LinkedIn page.
Transient sales, eh?
Transient sales. I assume that does not mean what I because I think of transient, I think of like a homeless person by that definition. I'm assuming she's not selling homeless people. But these days, you never. Other eyebrow-raising expenditures, which were first reported by Fox News, include nearly $11,000 on car services, more than $6,000 of which was spent in 21 transactions with New York-based Sonny's executive sedan across May and June. $6,000 over 21 transactions over 2 months. Good Lord. The Swalwell campaign also showed a taste for red meat, spending more than $2,100 at Washington, D.C. steakhouse Charlie Palmer's, $374.90 at another Capitol eatery, St. Anselm, and $232.31 at STK Steakhouse's downtown New York City location. They also utilized the alcohol delivery service Drizzly, never heard of it, to the tune of $566.04 on 9 separate occasions between the start of April and the end of June. There is no suggestion that any of the Swalwell campaign spending was illegal. Okay, then what's the story then?
Yeah, why are we here then?
Why? Yeah, the excesses of our not quite aristocratic class of politicians. They're spending money in ways that normal mortals could only hope to do, if you can imagine that. Okay, I mean, yeah, he has other scandals. Don't be disillusioned of that. But in this particular instance, it's like, okay, they spent a lot of their campaign money on indulging themselves all over the place, and they didn't break any laws. Now, you might say, gosh, there should be a law, but there isn't. And I seriously doubt any of these politicians would ever pass such a law. So,
look, how can he do his job properly without a 20-ounce steak?
I know, or a private car. He can't drive himself places.
Yeah, the fuck?
His staff can't drive their own cars places. They can't stay at a guy's house or just like rent a house, probably cheaper than spending $21,000 over the course of 1 month. Sorry, 21,000 in 6 separate transactions in 1 month. Can't bunk together or something, try to, whatever. God. It's stories like this make me go, gosh, I wish I was a politician. At the same time going like, I never want to be a politician.
Yeah, that is a job I will always pass on.
Yeah. This one comes from Emperor W.R. Costin. Or William R. Costin, as he's got on his Twitter account right now. Oh, William, King William, Emperor William. Women's topless court victory 20 years later. Okay. When university student Gwen Jacob removed her top to cool off on a sweltering summer day in July 1991, we are going back in time, she unwittingly spearheaded a movement to give all women in Ontario the legal right to expose their breasts, though most still choose not to.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah. You are liberated, my sisters. I'll keep them undercover, thanks.
Just walking around. I fought for you. I fought for your right.
I mean, if her situation increased people's choice, right? Then so be it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, whatever. But
yeah. This week marks the 20th anniversary of Jacob being charged with committing an indecent act in Guelph, Ontario, after walking home with her top off in 33 degrees Celsius weather. Celsius, guys. Just, the evil metric system, not 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Police had acted on a complaint from a mother who was concerned after her young children had seen Jacob walking topless. Young children seeing a woman's breasts.
Wait a minute. They said a woman?
A mother.
A mother?
A mother was concerned after her young children had seen Jacob walking topless.
Huh.
At the time, the 19-year-old Jacob said she got the idea to take off her top. What a revolutionary idea. After watching a group of shirtless men playing sports. By removing her top, she drew attention to the double standard in law that deemed it acceptable for men, but not for women, to go bare-chested. All right, fair enough. Quote, there were men who were topless walking right past the officers who arrested me, and they didn't do anything about them, Jacob told CBC News in an interview in 1991. But being a woman and having slightly different shaped breasts, I was arrested for it, unquote.
So wait, slightly different? Okay.
Well, who knows what her proportions were? I can't see them now. So
I promise you, if she saw a bunch of dudes outside with their shirts off playing sports, her tits were nothing like theirs.
Quote, I spearheaded this movement. I didn't really mean to start a movement. Yeah, but you're taking credit for it. I was just trying to catch a breeze. I was 19 years old. Today, I may take my shirt off occasionally, but it's not something like, okay, we can, so let's all go do it. I didn't care what was done in the past. This was the way we were going in the future. Again, it's like, okay, yeah, all right. Unequal treatment under the law. I all credit to you. At least, you didn't mean to start a movement, but now you're taking ownership of the movement, so whatever. Let's see. In 1991, Jacob was found guilty of one count of committing an indecent act and fined $75. During her court case, she argued that women's breasts are just fat tissue, not unlike men's. But in his ruling, the judge said a woman's breast is, quote, part of the female body that is sexually stimulating to men, both by sight and touch, and should not be uncovered in public. Oh, the male gaze!
Oh, shit.
And in this case, again, not wrong to oppose that. In 1996, the Ontario Court of Appeal overturned Jacob's conviction, saying, quote, there was nothing degrading or dehumanizing in what the appellant did. The scope of her activity was limited and was entirely non-commercial. No one who was offended was forced to continue looking at her, unquote. That is also true.
The funny part about this is I've actually seen a lot of women make that argument. They're just bags. They're not sexual or anything. There's nothing inherently sexual about them. And then you go to their profile and they got some sexy picture of them and their breasts are like front and center. And you're just like, well, what was that about then? I don't get it. Like, why'd you do that if they're not sexy at all?
Let's see. We did that one yesterday. Oh, wait. Did we? I mean, we didn't. This one comes from Lurking Gopher. think we mentioned this or something like it. Scoop. White House official and Pelosi aide test positive for COVID. You know, there's a lot of people in this country who I bet if you tested them would test positive for COVID and they wouldn't even have known it. White House official and a senior staff member for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi have both tested positive for COVID-19 after attending the same reception last week, officials confirmed to Axios. Why it matters? Well, because there are relatively geriatric people in the White House and relatively geriatric people in, well, Nancy Pelosi, and that they are at a higher risk for problems if they catch this than other people. Oh, wait, they're vaccinated, so they should be fine. Well, both individuals are vaccinated and mildly symptomatic. Wait, what? While both individuals are vaccinated and mildly symptomatic, they illustrate how Americans inoculated against the coronavirus can still contract and potentially unknowingly transmit the virus.
That is some serious Trumpian anti-science rhetoric.
I'm going to stop reading this here because I don't know what's going to happen if I keep going. For all I know, I could be inadvertently calling Facebook murderers. No, sorry, inadvertently doling out incorrect data about global health situation. We talked about the fire. What is this? Oh, we talked about that. Okay, we're already into yesterday's stuff already. Wow. Okay. Wow, that was quick. Anything else? What's this? Okay, this one comes from Dragon Mage. I don't know what it is, but I don't remember seeing this lady's picture before, so we'll end on this one. Woman forced to change shirts at Disney World after staff claim her top is inappropriate. Boy, just after a topless story, what was wrong with her top? Is that? Oh, okay. She was wearing some kind of bikini top. Okay, probably. A woman claims she was forced to change her outfit at Disney World because her cropped top was inappropriate. Well, is there a dress code notification at Disney World?
I mean, Alicia, I would imagine there would be something like that at Disney World.
Yeah, if it was posted somewhere that there is a dress code. Alicia Schuler, 22, was visiting Epcot in Orlando, Florida with her parents and sister last week when the incident happened. The holiday maker? Is it like a travel agent?
Yeah.
The holiday maker claims she was confronted by a staff member who told her that she was breaching the park's dress code. Excuse me a second. I had a cough. I didn't want to cough in your ear. See, I got my new trays for my teeth.
Mm.
And the first day or two, when they're fresh out of the package, they kind of dehydrate my mouth and everything because I'm getting used to them, or the chemicals in there, they're probably going to give me cancer or something. Anyway, so the first couple of days with the pain and everything, I get very thirsty constantly. And if I talk too long without taking a sip of water, I start getting all and then, 2 or 3 days out after everything returns back to normal. So this is just my life now. But instead of choosing from her own clothes, they escorted her to a gift shop to choose a new top to ensure she was dressed in accordance with the rules. Her account went viral on TikTok after she shared a video of the incident, which showed off her cropped bodysuit which exposed her midriff. And there's a sideways image of what she was wearing. Okay, well, was there a stated dress code, and was she alerted to it before she entered the park? Or was she alerted to it in such a way that she couldn't say she didn't see it?
I don't know, but I find it odd that they made her buy some clothes from their gift shop instead of just making her go to her hotel or whatever, or change to her own clothes.
Alyssa's video has been viewed nearly 4 million times since being uploaded 4 days ago. 1 million views a day. She shared a video of her being escorted by a staff member before they purchased the new top from a gift voucher. Oh, sorry, with a gift voucher. Okay, so she didn't have to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
In the clip, she showed off her bikini-style top, which was black with thin straps, before she changed into a yellow shirt that said Walt Disney World. The holiday maker, this is the mirror, guys, so I'm assuming holiday maker means travel agent, was left unimpressed by the intervention, adding in comments that the rules weren't being applied consistently. Quote, I was at Animal Kingdom all morning without an issue. I went to Epcot and this happened. I went back to Animal Kingdom and had no issue once again. If Disney wants to enforce a dress code, enforce a dress code, then they need to do just that. But the inconsistency, ... please, unquote. Her account went viral with many flooding Alyssa with supportive comments. Oh, she's been so wronged, guys. Oh, God, the pain, the agony. Oh, no. One person joked, girl, you scammed Disney out of free merch. You should be proud.
I mean, look, if you want to get some free shit from Disney, then dress skimpy and they'll fucking escort you to the gift shop with a voucher.
But another wrote, quote, maybe because there are young kids walking around that don't need to be subjected to that. I mean, you are at a kid's amusement park. Alyssa replied, quote, subjected to a torso? Girl, I am flat-chested, unquote.
I mean, she ain't wrong.
In another comment, she said she wasn't mad about it and confirmed she didn't know there was a dress code before visiting. On the Disney World site, it says proper attire must be worn at all times, and that clothing which, quote, exposes excessive portions of the skin is not allowed. Well, I mean, I don't think it's a very subjective thing to say that that top does expose a lot of skin, if that is the standard.
I mean,
but
yeah.
It's also vague enough that it gives them some leeway into what they're going to enforce. So anyway, I'm going to stop there. Everybody, thank you so much for all your stories. Sorry I didn't get to them all, but can't get to everything. We're going to go on to YouTube time. So Satsu, what have you been up to?
I spent quite a bit of time replying to comments because the 7 Days to Die videos that I did or whatever, they lots of people watching them. It's crazy how many fucking views these videos are getting, but there's a lot of comments coming in, and I just spent a lot of time responding to them. As far as YouTube videos and stuff have gone, I'm not ready to start working on any videos yet, so I haven't been. I've just been kind of chilling out and trying to get my home situation together. So,
oh no, Wilson from Home Improvement passed away.
Oh, well, we don't know what he looks like, so.
Well, there's a picture of him I just tweeted out. Yeah, Tim Allen just tweeted out, Wilson's ghost was holding that spinner. God rest you, my old friend Earl Hinman. That's too bad. Great character. For those of you that remember Home Improvement and Wilson, apparently Earl Hinman has passed away. Well, there you go. Sorry, was that your YouTube?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm probably not going to have much to say for the next couple days on YouTube stuff, honestly.
If it happened a while ago, I don't know. He tweeted this out 19 minutes ago, so I don't know what he's referring to then, if not. But either way, maybe I'm missing something. Always loved how Wilson said to Halloween 1990. I was today years old when I learned he passed away 18 years ago. Okay, well, this is one of those things. I was talking about this the other day because this happened to me a long time ago. Somebody on Facebook posted R.I.P. Rue McClanahan from Golden Girls. And I was like, oh, R.I.P. And they're like, dude, she died 7 years ago. Like, oh. And then that happened another time with, it was Tim Curry, a picture of Tim Curry. It's like, oh my God, Tim Curry had a stroke. And I'm like, oh my God. And people are like, dude, that happened years ago. Like, oh. So I don't know what Tim Allen's motivation was there, but I read it as he was announcing a death. So there you go.
Maybe he befriended his ghost and his ghost finally passed on.
Maybe so. I have in shame deleted the rare time I delete a tweet because I reflexively retweeted it out without thinking about it first. And now that I think about it, I think I knew that already, but I don't know what. Wilson's ghost was holding that spinner. What are you talking about? Holding that spinner. A lot of people have been taken in by this as well, and if you look at the comments, so it's not just me. But anyway, que sera. As for YouTube stuff, I'm debating about making that. I was talking last night about doing a video going over my favorite issue of The Punisher. I'm thinking I might try to do that as a scripted piece rather than a live stream piece to get some more focused attention on things. So I'm still considering that. If I do so, that'll be a longer term project. So I'll think about that. Otherwise, I'm still getting my TEDx's all lined up. Not sure which one I'll do on Thursday yet. They keep dropping new ones, most of them in languages I can't speak, but all the same. So we'll see. I have a couple I've held in reserve from the distant past that may be interesting, but I'm sort of saving those for a special occasion. So we'll see. And otherwise, what was the other thing? There was something else I was going to. Oh, yeah. How about crazy anti-racist white lady, Satsu?
No.
I have skipped ahead past the introduction that we usually hear to get right to the meat of it.
Leave Sour Cream Lady in her overly lit studio.
No. This is a 15-part series, and god dang it. As many parts as I find, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
All right. So for those of you that don't know, last couple of Tuesdays at least, I found clips from Diverse City, which is an organization somewhere that does videos like this. I've done at least one video on its leader before. Is doing this series on redefining terms around white supremacy. And our speaker here, anti-racist white lady, because, well, she has that on her shirt and she's glaringly white with her glasses glaring back at us. Every video starts with the exact same opening, but you could be forgiven if thinking it was a new video because she's in the same outfit in every video. So really, she recorded 2 minutes of one thing and then did 2-minute blurbs of all these individual things for 15 different videos. So it's I'm not going to say it's lazy video creation, but it is. So I've skipped ahead to where we get to the meat of the matter, which means we only have 2 minutes to sit through instead of 4.
All right.
Are you ready?
No, but...
Are you excited?
Oh, very. Absolutely.
Good.
In the series focuses on one aspect from the list, and today's aspect is quantity over quality.
Quantity over quality. Okay, so how is that going to relate to white supremacy?
I wonder.
I'm literally asking. I'd like to see if we can predict where this is going to go before we actually hear from her.
Quantity of quality?
Like allyship? Or no, that's something else.
It seems like, okay, from an argument that I would assume she would make, I would think it would be the other way around.
Okay. But, yeah, exactly. It's like you have to be, a awesome ally is better than 5 mediocre allies. Something like that.
Right, or something along those lines. I'm a little stumped on this one.
Let's see. Well, Heine kind of thought what I was thinking, like white quantity over white quality. Yeah, well, that could be so. So let's find out.
So many of us have heard the term quality time.
And it cut. Did you see that?
Oh.
Oh my God. Let's see. Her head turn and then the zoom. Watch this.
Us have heard the term quality time.
Quality time. Snap zoom. Yes, quality time.
Right?
Right.
That's the idea. We spend time that is of high quality with loved ones. That's maybe better than spending more time with them.
Well, when it comes to family members, you want to leave while they still want you to stay is kind of the rule. Actually, that kind of goes for just about anybody, but definitely for family. And quality time means, you're doing something substance with your family and not just like going to the grocery store or something, right? It's more like an activity kind of thing. So yes, okay, quality time is better than just, sitting in the same room and somebody's watching TV and somebody else is playing Final Fantasy 14.
Right.
I'm not talking about anybody in particular.
Yeah.
if that other more time is of lower quality. Quantity over quality values more.
What?
Right? That may be more clients served, more burgers served. It could be.
You're not going to serve many burgers if your burgers suck. Unless you've conditioned your audience or your clientele to accept mediocrity. Oh wait, yeah, never mind. Fast food. Okay.
More widgets sold. It could be more friends following you on TikTok. It could be all sorts of things.
But it's, you're going to argue that that's not good, right? Sorry, what?
Sorry, my wife's talking to me.
Oh, hi, Squishy.
Scribe says hello.
Hello.
When we value quantity over quality, sometimes, as with that phrase, quality time, we're missing out on stuff.
Okay.
We're not able to make room for high quality.
I'm really stretching my imagination here. Do people generally value quantity over quality? I mean, I guess it depends on the context, but
yeah, it's contextual, and she ain't really providing much.
No. What's the punchline, lady? You've got a minute.
If we are just concentrating on serving more burgers, are we also concentrating on serving really good burgers?
Good burger?
Can I take your order?
Not always.
What are you
So
talking
thinking about what we're valuing in the moment and really weighing whether that is what we want to value is really important. So the next time you're in a conversation.
Oh, okay. Here we go. This is going to be the big example. Okay. After all of that nebulous, abstract, the hell are you talking about, lady? Here we go. You ready, Satsu?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's go for the active example.
And you maybe notice quantity being thrown around is like the be all end all of
what are you talking about?
Things. Pause for a moment and ask, is there a way that we can actually make sure that the quality of what we're doing is high as well as the quantity? Do we need to trade off quantity for quality? Or do we need to do it the way that we're doing it because that's the way we need to do it?
What?
Who knows?
What?
But you won't know.
Who knows?
Question.
What?
So ask it.
What are you? Hold on. Let me back up a little bit. Okay, for those of you that might have missed the last couple of episodes of this, let me find out what the overriding topic this series is supposed to address. There, okay. This series is supposed to address elements and or factors or subjects within the notion, at least as far as our speaker calls it, white supremacy. What in the ever-loving Caesar's ghost was she talking about?
I'm not really sure.
I just go, okay. Anyway, that was our diversion. Now we can move on to internet fucketry, as if that didn't, I guess, count. Satsu, you got anything?
I got a statement.
Oh, you hate statements.
I know, but you have somehow conjured one up.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you've ever wasted my time more than you have just now.
Well, so I've wiped the slate clean prior to this moment?
I think so.
Yay!
I think we start a new chapter where you have to now one up this moment where you've wasted my time so dramatically that it is noteworthy.
Oh, dude, I have got some TED excellences. You want to do one right now?
Oh no. You ain't got it. Look, you ain't got to be an overachiever. Jeez.
I mean, I got. You'll be a perfect expert to weigh in on the subject matter.
Fuck, dude. Like what?
Let's see. What kind of? Oh yeah. What kind of fucketry you
got? Let's see. There's definitely something I saw earlier. Let me see if I can find it real quick. God damn it. Hold on. Let me see. This was definitely on my Twitter, but it might not have been on my. I've actually been actively avoiding shit on my Fam 2 cents one. So I've been trying to, I forgot to say this, guys. If you want to tweet me in something and it's of a political nature, like the stuff we normally talk about, tag my 2 cents plus, please, if you can. Because I've been trying to keep this shit off of my Fam 2 cents feed, because my Fam 2 cents feed is wholesome as hell. And there's a lot of food and other shit that I like to see. And this shit is seeping in. And I'm just like, no, I don't want it. So please, if you want to tag me in something, tag 2 cents plus, please, and thank you. So that way, because I'm on both of them frequently. Okay, so this one is one I saw. I don't know if I talked about this one, but it says, "Get ready for macho tears." Did I talk about this one?
I don't think so.
Okay, it says, "Get ready for macho tears. The first woman completed the SWCC, a Navy Special Warfare training course that many said no woman would ever be able to complete." Now, for whatever reason, this individual seems to believe that a bunch of manly men who are convinced that women cannot complete a very tough challenge are going to somehow be upset and not somehow turned on by a woman who can. And I'm just kind of dumbfounded by that notion, because it just doesn't make any sense. I would wager that anybody who could complete that challenge would be thoroughly impressed, if not turned on, by a chick who could do the same. You know, like I feel like they wouldn't be like, "Hey, man."
Especially if you appreciate athletics and everything else, you know.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and I'm just like, and this is what I said. I'm like, look, you are still claiming that this is something noteworthy, which you would not be doing if it was commonplace. So even if they put this thing out and every now and then a woman decides to or manages to complete this thing, the numbers will still not be in their favor, because the argument is it's not women can't do it. It's they're a lot less likely to complete it, which the statistics still show. And if they didn't show that, then you wouldn't be talking about this like it was noteworthy. So I don't know what point you're trying to make here, but you sound stupid on all fronts. So, and he said, somebody popped in and said, "Do you realize they recently allowed women to even attempt it? And much like the first time the 4-minute mile barrier was broke, then it started happening with increased frequency. You'll see the same thing here." I'm like, sure, but it's still going to be significantly less than the male side. So, I mean,
the 4-minute mile.
Wait, did I say that? That's the 4-minute mile barrier. That's what it says.
4-minute mile. I was under the impression of the standard was shorter than that.
Who knows?
Okay.
But yeah, this dude's thoroughly convinced that a bunch of dudes, and then most of the comments here are people just like, here we go, another person who's super excited and just salivating at the concept of a bunch of dudes being pissed off about it. Yet there are no pissed dudes in sight. no pissed off men in sight. It's weird. It's very strange that there was another post about AOC. Somebody put up a post like, the reason I follow AOC is because every time somebody tries to give her shit, she smacks them down with pure knowledge and facts. And I was just like, yeah? You sure about that? Yeah, because
pure knowledge and facts from AOC.
Wowee, wow.
Here's the hilarious part about that. They said that statement, but I believe her tweet said something, because somebody was saying like she's fighting capitalism with capitalism, because she was selling stuff. She was pushing merch or whatever.
Right.
And she was like, actually, capitalism is a system that was built specifically to put money over lives and everything else. It was like lives and people and other. It was something like that. And I was just like, so you love AOC because she's smacking people down with knowledge and facts, Yet she just gave some bullshit definition of what capitalism is.
Yeah, because socialism does not trade lives for profit. Just so you know, guys. Just so you know.
Of course not. I just like she gave a not correct definition of capitalism, and this is the moment where you want to say she's smacking people down with facts and knowledge. She just made some shit up. I don't know. It's just fucking people. We're not as bad as Trumpers, guys. We just worship our deities. Sane, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, that's all the fucketry I can think of.
All right. Well, my fucketry primarily consists of like catchy viral videos today. I can't really show them, unfortunately, but they're on my Twitter feed. One is of a guy at it looks like a gas station convenience store, and the lady behind the counter is filming him, and she asks him for one more, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And so he starts singing Keith Urban, and he sings it like perfectly. And there's like some guys behind him waiting in line that are just like shocked, and they start like dancing while he's doing his rend. It's hilarious. It's great.
Oh yeah, I meant to watch that video because I saw it, but I couldn't watch it at the time.
It's hilarious. The other one that was going around is this guy. It's like a bunch of strung together TikTok videos of a kid who is giving his mother's life a soundtrack with his trombone.
Oh, that is funny.
And it's great. His mother is just this adorable, like she's obviously like a little person, right?
Uh-huh.
But she's absolutely adorable, walking around her house, just kind of shuffling around and doing her chores, and he's just like womp womp womp. And it's just you have to see it to believe. It's on my my Twitter feed timeline if you want to go watch that. And the other thing, the Washington Post had this question: with Black Widow ticket buying suddenly drying up, growing questions for Disney's Marvel about what did it in. I gave a list. I said should have been a Phase 2 film, should have been a focused Bourne-esque vehicle. Black Widow is practically a supporting character in her own film. Bad CGI, bad writing, invincible, non-powered heroes. I swear to God, for somebody who has no superpowers, Natasha and Elena, the other Black Widow in this one, or the protagonist, they get into the most violent car wrecks possibly imagined. Their skeletons should be liquefied by the force of impact of these things, and they get out with literally not a scratch on them, not even torn clothes. It defies even comic books sort of like, no, why did you? Ridiculous villains, and lastly, marketing that vilified the male audience. And it was pointed out to me probably the first one and the last one that it should have been a film that was made far earlier, and that a lot of the press and marketing, especially Scarlett Johansson going out there and saying that, the over-sexualization of me is just too much and everything else. I'm like, lady, half of your career is based on your body and your looks. Actually, your entire career is based on your body and your looks to begin with. And effectively, you're saying anybody who finds you attractive is doing the wrong thing now. Okay, well, you go with that thought, I guess.
I was checking out some of the reviews on it, and one of the biggest complaints is the fact that they can't, and this has been kind of a recurring thing. They can't have a serious, meaningful moment without fucking joking to escape it.
Yeah, there was that too.
Where there's just like, serious thing, we can cover a topic and make ourselves, add a little depth to this movie, and they're just like, fart joke or something like that, like, ha ha ha, serious thing.
Yeah, there was a couple of scenes, primarily with David Harbour's character, the Red Guardian, and the other Black Widow, where they had some private time, like they were just alone in a room having a conversation. What the heck is that sound? Can you excuse me a second? Something's going on.
Uh-oh. The police finally found Scribe, guys. Well, it was a good run. We really enjoyed doing Lords of the Night. It was a good time. I didn't think it would end so abruptly, but eventually they were gonna find him. It had to happen at some point. They weren't circling his house all this time just to not find them. They're good at their job sometimes. So
okay, yeah, it sounded like imagine a leaf blower, right?
mhm.
But like powered by a jet engine. Is some piece of machinery or whatever, and some construction thing across the way was just going absolutely nuts. And for a second, I thought because with my headphones on, it's kind of muffled. I thought my computer fan was suddenly going absolutely berserk. But no, it was just because it was that loud that it was like coming into my room, and I was just like, "What?" So anyway, that was. If you guys heard that, I don't know if you did or not, but man.
Well, I was telling the chat that the police finally found you. They circled
No,
your house enough times, and they finally figured out where you were.
nah. Anyway, yeah, the Black Widow thing. Now, there were a couple of. So the director of the movie, who had done these very obscure, small, very sort of low budget dramas previously, didn't make any sense for a multi-million-dollar action film. There's a whole bunch of politics behind those decisions that Marvel makes now with the directors it chooses, because they don't want directors that actually have a vision. They want directors that they can control, because this is the biggest gig they've ever got, and they just need somebody to sort of sit in the chair while they do their CGI stuff in the background.
Well, I don't think it actually mattered to them at this point, because this movie was supposed to, it got what? I think it was announced or was supposed to come out in 2014 or something.
No. The idea of it has been floating around for years, but it only got delayed because of coronavirus and everything else. It was supposed to come out, I think, the winter of 2019 or something like that. Somewhere in there, or maybe like holiday 2019, but it kept getting pushed back because of the pandemic. So now this movie should have come out back in phase 2, phase 3 at the worst, after the Avengers, certainly. And now that they've already killed off the character in Endgame, you can't have the continuing adventures of Black Widow. You have to do a prequel that very awkwardly fits in between Civil War and Infinity War. It was just a bad idea from the beginning, bad timing, and the worst possible format in which to do it. I put out a tweet the other day that was, again, one of my most popular tweets ever. I just tweeted out, I said, would have been something if Black Widow had taken its cues from the film La Femme Nikita. And if you guys don't know the film La Femme Nikita, it's a French film from the 90s. It's about strangely enough, a girl who gets recruited into a secret organization who ends up becoming something. I won't tell you what it is. But anyway, the situation, the character, the whole film, the story, I wouldn't say a direct lift of it could make a Black Widow movie, but the atmosphere, the grittiness of it, and the relatively low-key nature and character-focused nature of the film would have been way better. Black Widow should have been an espionage movie. It should have been basically Bourne Identity-esque, where it's very frenetic, very focused, small stakes, espionage, intrigue movie. And they didn't do that. They made it into a huge, ridiculous explosion, CGI, 2 people blowing up. And there's this one part in the movie where they have to rescue somebody from a prison. And their actions literally destroy the prison and every person who was there, guards, prisoners, and all. And nobody cares. Just let it fly off. And it's never mentioned, never comes up. It's like, you just had an entire, I mean, sure, so the prison was filled with bad people, sure. Right? But they weren't sentenced to death, and you just killed them all. Who knows how many hundreds of people you just killed? It doesn't matter. And one of the main characters, again, I won't ruin it for anybody per se, but one of the main characters, it's revealed that they did and had a hand in terrible, terrible, terrible things. The plot, and by the end of the movie, it's not even mentioned. Nothing at all. It was ridiculous. Even for a Marvel movie, just like, what? No, what? No.
Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna check it out myself. But I was just looking at some of the criticisms. They said that fair bit of the movie kind of didn't matter at the end. They said even kind of the main villain was just like, wait, what? Why?
Yeah,
why exactly. Is this person the main villain?
He was the guy was barely in the film.
Like, wait, who the fuck is this dude?
Yeah, honestly, it might just because it's the thing in the moment right now. I'd say it might be the worst Marvel movie. And that's saying something next to Thor Dark World, because Thor Dark World was pretty bad. But at least Thor Dark World had Tom Hiddleston and some really great scenes with him and Thor, being brothers and everything. There were some good parts in Dark World that I still remember and still appreciate. There's almost nothing about this movie that either I appreciate and a lot of it I've just already washed over my memory because it was just so bland and just so meh. And some of the story logic. I mean, I swear, comic book movies don't have to make sense all the time, obviously, But again, within the bounds of the story you're telling, there has to be some consistent logic, some rationalization for why people are doing things or why this happens and that doesn't happen and that kind of thing. No. Anyway. Demon Hobbit, worse than Brie Larson. At this point, I would say the worst Marvel list from bottom upwards goes Black Widow, Dark World, and then Captain Marvel. And only because there were some parts in Captain Marvel that were entertaining. They weren't none of them were on the basis of Brie Larson's performance by any stretch of the imagination. But some of the Samuel L. Jackson stuff, save for the ending, was good, and it was passable. That's about as much as I'll say. The ending was absolute ass. I mean, you want to talk about the final fight being an absolute nothing. You couldn't ask for worse than from Captain Marvel. But yeah, it wasn't a Dark World, but it certainly wasn't a Black Widow. And depending on the day, I could see myself switching up Dark World and Captain Marvel for second worst Marvel movie, but it's about right there. So anyway, all that being said, we're at the bottom of the hour, which means it is question time. So if you have questions, comments, complaints, concerns, conspiracy theories, as long as they're not conspiracy theories involving bad information about global health situation, put them in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statement marks for us to consider, statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. I really screwed that up. Anyway.
Yes, no misinformation about the Great Turtle Cave incident.
Right. Yes. The tongue butter. Jaime says La Femme Nikita was too French for me. Well, then you're in luck because there was an American remake called Point of No Return, starring Bridget Fonda, which is actually pretty good all on its own. If you didn't know it was based on another movie and have nothing to compare it to, you'd probably enjoy it. Not that they can't be enjoyed independently, but if you've seen La Femme Nikita, Point of No Return is really a carbon copy, just with different actors and language. So, let's see. Spudgun, have you heard about Chantix, the stop smoking drug being pulled for having cancer-causing chemicals? Oh, really? Oh no.
That doesn't sound good.
That is the worst marketing campaign ever. We'll help you stop smoking and get cancer from us. Chantix, stop smoking, get cancer.
Wait, don't get cancer from cigarettes. Get it from us.
Yeah, why get your cancer from low-rent cigarettes when you can get it from the best? Peter Silak 313, Satsu, you're on Facebook. Have you seen those warnings that say, quote, you may have been exposed to extremist content? If you have, what the post was?
I've seen them pop up on a couple things. I can't remember, like now that you bring it up, I can't remember exactly what, but yeah, I haven't been seeing as many of those, which is fascinating, by the way, because I used to see them all the time. Back in the day, well, when Trump was in office, you'd frequently see posts whenever there was anything put up of a kind of, here are some sources underneath here because this might be misinformation stuff, and you'd be able to click a couple links and they'll take you to approved Facebook sources for whatever it is. Those have vanished from Facebook altogether. I haven't seen them since Trump has been out of office. But yeah, I have seen those warnings where they're like, this could be careful, you're falling down a rabbit hole. We're trying to save you. It's like, oh, okay, well, thank you.
Tack Alpaca, would you ever want to see a big DC Marvel crossover? Yeah, I'd love to see the people who do the DC animated movies cross over and do Marvel movies. Because, man, those DC animated movies are top notch. You see seen the clips for the Long Halloween, the Batman thing?
I think I've seen a couple like little clips and stuff from
it. Man, there was a brief time where I did a couple of decent quality animated features. You can still find them. I think there's like Wolverine versus the Hulk, and Wolverine versus Thor, and even Planet Hulk. I mean, they did some stuff that was pretty good. And the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon series was actually really good. It's a shame that they went over to whatever they're doing now. But yeah, if I wanted to see a crossover, and I know what you meant, like a DC Marvel cut. As far as like a movie or something, no, I wouldn't want to see Superman and Spider-Man hanging out at a bar or something. No, keep things separate. They're best on their own. And if you want to see a DC Marvel crossover, there's plenty of comic book instances where they did that, especially when they did the amalgam comics, where they created new characters by combining DC and Marvel characters. So there was like they took Batman and Wolverine and made Dark Claw, and then they took Superman and Captain America and made Super Patriot or something like that.
Super Patriot.
Yeah, they did all types of like Spider Boy with Superman and Superboy and Spider-Man putting.
Oh yeah, dude, can you imagine today? It's like Super Patriot, the Trump-inspired superhero.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, they wouldn't get away with that. But yeah, so yeah, the DC Marvel crossover comics that have happened, they're like one-offs, and they're not really considered true canon or anything. So Leo Prime 75, is that Casey Kasem? We're counting them down. And also, wasn't Casey Kasem the voice of Shaggy?
I don't know.
I thought he was the voice of Shaggy. Originally the voice of Shaggy. Pretty sure. Let's see. Did you ever watch Chrissy Mayer? That name sounds familiar. Is she a YouTuber?
That doesn't ring a bell to me.
It vaguely rings a bell, but I guess the answer to your question is no. Mashisu, Lords of the Night, which is better, bubblegum cigarettes or bubblegum cigars? Well, I always liked, when I was a kid, I always thought it was cool because the bubblegum cigarettes, if you blew through them, the powdered sugar that was on them would come out and look like you're smoking for about 3 seconds. I thought that was funny. But I'd say bubblegum cigarettes. I never cared for the cigars.
Yeah, well, it was the bubblegum cigars around there, and the cigarettes were the ones that were made a little powdered, like just little sugar canes or whatever. So yeah, I like the cigars because of the bubblegum or whatever. Although I didn't learn until much later, because that was one of those things where they're like they put that stuff in the corner stores in black neighborhoods to condition you so you when you get older, you'll see the grown-up version and be like, hey, because they want you smoking and drinking and all that unhealthy shit.
Ebony Williams, worst case of secondhand embarrassment.
Ooh.
I mean, there are times in like either like real life videos or TV shows or movies or something where something is just like so not cringy in the sense it's badly done, but like there's a circumstance or situation where someone is just completely like in the wrong, or they're just about to be set up, or something terrible is about to happen or whatever, because they've said the wrong thing, or they've set themselves up. And I get that reflexive like vicarious like crunch in my chest, and just like and sometimes I can't even watch. Like if it's a video I'm watching where it's like I know somebody's about to get completely smeared or something, I just like part of me that goes, I can't watch this. It's really weird. Like my whole body tightens up.
I have a hard time watching people doing bad performances.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
Like I can't, like the auditions and shit for like American Idol and stuff like that or whatever. It genuinely makes me uncomfortable to watch people do bad. And I know I know a lot of people watch because they're like, oh, it's so funny, but I'm just like, they're trying.
Yeah.
They are fucking giving it there. I mean, well, some of them are there because they're just like, I want to be on TV. I know I can't sing, but here's a good chance to be on TV. But like some other people, if they're really giving it their all and it's just bad, it's hard for me to watch. Yeah, I can feel the embarrassment for them.
I wish I could remember like a specific incident or example that was the worst, because there's something like in the back of my memory, but I can't remember anything in particular. Just like, but that sensation of like somebody's about to fail miserably, or they are failing miserably, and it's just like painful to watch. Like my whole body, like I said, tightens up on behalf of them, sort of. Mm-hmm. Like I'm putting myself in their situation, like a comic that's bombing on stage completely.
Yeah,
something like that. And I've seen those in real life, and man, you'd think it. I mean, some people might find it funny. It's not funny. It's not funny, especially with. Oh God, if my sister's listening, she may or may not remember this, but I went to a comedy show one time where she was performing, but somebody came on before her. It was a multi-comic thing. And the person performing did not have anything of comedic value at all, and started just engaging with the audience. And I forget exactly how. So, and I just to because my sister was performing at this relatively, let's just say it was a modest venue rather than call it a hole in the wall. And just to sort of heighten the occasion, because I was going to go see my sister perform, I dressed up in my 3-piece suit. So I was the best dressed person in the entire room, which I always love being. And this performer singled me out and started like trying to play off of me in her routine. I can't explain it any better than that. And it was so, it was not funny not in the sense it was offensive per se, but just that it had absolutely no value of humor. Mm-hmm. And B, it was so bizarre and out of place. And like, I was just there to watch something, and all of a sudden she's trying to get me to, I don't know, be the sounding board for her performance. It was very bizarre. And I felt like terrible, embarrassed for myself, embarrassed for them at the same time, and also just bewildered. It was a very odd combination of sensations. So I guess of the one that I can remember, I guess that's the one.
Yeah, and just to give you
guys,
I was
also a part of it directly.
Yeah, just to give you guys an example of how bad I have it with that stuff, Scribe's explanation of it was detailed enough to where my fucking heart rate started going up, and I'm just like, God, I could feel the embarrassment.
it was so crazy. I mean, I wish I could do it better justice by being able to like recite what was said and give a better description of the individual, but I'm not going to do that because it's irrelevant. But anyway, it was just, yeah. Anyway, moving on. She said, okay, here goes. With Nabisco cookies, you prefer normal size, family size, or party size packages? I guess normal size, because I'm not a glutton, nor do I have a family.
Yeah. I at this point in my life, I prefer family size everything, because it makes me have to take less trips back to the store.
No. You don't prefer anything of Nabisco cookies now, Satsu.
Well,
watch your health, Satsu.
That's why I made it more of a general statement.
Yeah, but now it's irrelevant. You're not going to get family size bags of cookies anymore.
No, but I'll get family size bags of healthy shit.
Okay, that's fine, but not Nabisco cookies.
I know, and that's why I said generally I prefer family size bags of anything.
Oh, okay.
I generalized it for a reason, Scribe.
I'm just overprotective.
I know. Squishy is too. Oh my God, you should have seen her fucking
I can imagine
glaring at me in the grocery store. It's just like, don't you do it. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy anything.
Nathan Rita wants to know, what's up, Scribe Light? The sky.
You could have
My-
gave any
my-
answer that wasn't that one.
Oh, my sense of self-embarrassment.
Well,
I don't know. Satsu's blood sugar.
see, I was waiting for that one. I'm just like, is he not gonna take this bait?
Well, I mean, I thought I shouldn't be mean. Now, what the hell?
I'm just like, wait, is he not gonna do it? If this was Monkey, he'd do it. Because Monkey.
Jaime, do you ever wear your top hat and monocle? That I don't have a top hat actually, or a monocle. I don't know how I'd hold a monocle in my. I have to wear glasses anyway, so monocle really is in the cards. And I don't actually have a suit where a top hat makes sense, or an outfit. I've got a couple of decent suits. One's is a pinstriped, really nice looking suit. But no, I don't have a top hat. In fact, I don't think I have any kind. I got a trench coat that could go over the suit. It looks pretty cool, but I don't have like a hat to go along with it. Let's see, Jaeger Pony. New Nabisco healthy shit now in family packs.
Nabisco health shit.
Yeah, Nabisco shit. Leo Prime, your avatar does. My avatar has what? Doesn't have a monocle or a top hat.
Or a top hat.
Or are you talking about something else?
You got Pimp Cane.
Yeah, I got a cane. Actually, I got a couple of canes. I don't have I got a couple of like old Shepherd Hooks canes, regular like hook cane. That I'm pretty good at twirling around. Actually, I've got a lot of practice with that. But someday when I actually need one, because when I get old enough that I'll actually need one, I want to get an actual like fancy walking stick with like a silver or silver-ish handle, preferably like a wolf or something cool, So, but that'll be down the line when I can be an eccentric old man or whatever. Spudgun Scribe Light, if you have a suit that goes with a trench coat, you need a trilby. I actually have a trilby somewhere that I only wore. I got it on I was visiting my parents and we went on a trip somewhere for like a weekend, and I bought it on a whim. And it's a decent hat. I mean, it's a nice little gray, sort of charcoal gray little trilby hat. But I've never really had occasion to wear it since then. I wore it for that vacation here and there to keep the sun out of my eyes. But yeah, I don't know. I need something to go along with it, and I don't have any reason to wear a pinstripe suit, especially in this weather. So who knows? Yeah, but anyway, Scribe Light, what color was your suit? The one I wore to the comedy show, it was my coal black pinstriped suit, I believe. Because that was of the ones that I have, that's my favorite. I still have somewhere in my closet the very first real suit I ever had when I got it for my high school homecoming, where I went all by myself because I was a sad, lonely, nerdy kid.
That's fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I always, if I had it, the ability to, I'd wear nice suits more often than I do. But I don't usually have occasion to.
I'm not a suit guy. They're uncomfortable.
Oh, I like a nice vest. I can get away with the vest pretty good. My body shape is accommodating to a vest, and it looks pretty good. Get a little chain on my wallet hanging out like a watch chain kind of thing, and make it all look all fancy. Yeah, good stuff. Let's see. Whoops. Scribe like gangster. Nah, not really gangster. Leo Prime, what's your avatar's name? I know you said it before, but can you tell me again? Well, I mean, the name of the painting on which it is based is called Wanderer Above the Sea Fog. It's a 1890-ish painting by I think it's Caspar David Friedrich. If I'm getting the order of his names correct, it's Caspar David Friedrich. Yeah, he was a German impressionist, I think it was, or something like that. And it's a very famous painting. It's used on book covers for lots lots of things. It's been used on. It's probably most known for being used on several editions of Frankenstein, because for some reason they associate that picture with Frankenstein chasing after his monster or something. And yeah, so anyway, it's a painting I've always liked, and so that was the inspiration for my avatar. As far as the name of the character, I don't know. Yeah, at least in that painting, and in this instance, the name is Scribe. Lawton, did you know I'm streaming KOTOR 2 after your show? I did not know that. Is it the fully restored KOTOR 2 with all the missing content and lines and everything else put into it? And what path are you currently taking? Are you going for being a dark side Sith, or are you going for Jedi? Are you corrupting all your companions or leaving them alone, or all that good stuff? Let's see. Spudgun, Scarlet painting is 1818. Oh, okay. Was it? For some reason I thought 1890. Maybe I thought it was 18. Anyway, okay, 1818. Sure. Why not? Jonathan Peterson, I'm getting tired of ads saying the founders were all for gun control, how we need to help the Dems defeat their fear-mongering NRA. Does the NRA really have any teeth anymore, aside from just reputation? Are they bankrupt and just like... I mean, as a powerful lobbying body, aren't they relatively low on the totem pole? I don't know. I'm not a gun enthusiast.
People think they are, because I was just talking to somebody on Facebook today who was just like, the hypocrisy is never ending. They want to regulate gun laws, or they don't want gun laws regulated, but for some reason voting is a fair game. And I'm just like, none of that matters, because both are regulated. So regardless of whatever side you're on of this particular argument, they're both regulated. So there's no real argument to be made here. And I'm just like, and he was like, well, it's still a serious issue because the NRA is trying to make sure that guns have no regulation at all. And I'm like, first off, that's not true. Secondly, even if they were trying to do that, they literally can't. So I don't understand what the fear mongering is for. He was like, but they have guns and politicians and stupid people who follow them. And I'm like, so does every political group in America.
Yeah.
So I still don't get the fear mongering.
Any special interest group you can think of.
Yeah. Any fucking one. Like, so what's the point?
This is Kyle. I'm playing a canon Mitra character. Also, yes, it's the restoration mod. Yes, Mitra Surik, the canon version of the Jedi Exile from KOTOR 2. If I remember correctly, they came up with that name by simply pushing the random name generator either on the website or in the thing that they were building for the character when they finally decided to decide on the name of the character. They gave her an actual name, whereas Revan was never given a real name. Revan was actually a derivation of his... it was actually basically a nickname, but they never actually gave a name to the character behind the mask for Revan. So it's actually interesting. Now, what happened to that character, Mitra Surik, down the line in the new canon established by the Old Republic MMORPG? Not that great. A lot of things that SWTOR did to changing the overall story of Revan and his fate and everything else kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but oh well. Que sera. Ebony Williams, fajitas or burritos? I'm more of a burrito guy.
Probably fajitas, honestly. I know you can get more variety with burritos, but I don't really eat burritos that often. So, but I tend to make fajitas quite often. So,
Says Wood, Lawton, what Power Ranger are you? Well, none, because Power Rangers don't exist.
How dare you say something so awful?
Did I just break your heart, Santa Claus style there? Sorry.
They're definitely real.
No, by the thumbnail, I guess I am the Red Ranger and Satsu is the Black Ranger.
Yes, that's right.
And I made Drunkle the Pink Ranger. And Tailed Feature was just obviously had to be the Blue Ranger because of his color scheme. And then Squishy was the Yellow Ranger. And then Monkey was the White Ranger.
Of course, Monkey's the White Ranger.
I know. Why? Ebony Williams. Oh, you're talking about something else. Jaime says, Scribe really knows the Star Wars stuff. Probably too much. Probably too much. I mean, I should say my Star Wars trivia knowledge is primarily quote-unquote legends material because I have dedicated almost no brain power to absorbing or accepting anything of the sequel trilogy. There are elements of things that Disney has produced, or I should say Lucasfilm has produced since the Disney takeover that I don't mind that much. Some elements of Rebels, if I can just ignore the fact that it's part of the quote-unquote, it's borrowing elements from legends and recanonicizing them or whatever, like Thrawn, But generally speaking, yeah, most of my knowledge is legends material, which I think is the superior material and is what I would be using to source anything that I ever did as far as like tabletop role-playing games or anything in the future. So I don't care about the sequel stuff. It's all nonsense. I really did try. I mean, when they said that all the expanded universe stuff was effectively being decanonized and set aside, it doesn't count anymore. That was the first big red flag in my mind that, oh no, they've already ruined Star Wars. But I tried. I tried really hard with the first movie. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get interested about this new stuff. I gave it the old college try, and it just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. When your major villain throws a tantrum like a 3-year-old, and then you have a comedic moment with the stormtroopers stopping, looking at each other, and then backing away to completely undermine the seriousness of your villain. That I mean, of all the things in that first movie that you could complain about, when I saw that in the theater, I was like, oh no. You don't take your Darth Vader character and make him a butt of a joke. Not like that. Good Lord. I was just like, no, I'm done. That was pretty much it. I mean, I did go and see The Last Jedi because I didn't know any better. I have not bothered to go anywhere near Rise of Skywalker. I don't care anymore about that whole continuity. The only thing about Star Wars right now that I'm paying any attention to is, Mandalorian, because most of that was pretty good. Although some of the episodes and some of the plot lines were awfully repetitive. And that whole Boba Fett episode, that was such trash. None of it made any sense. It was so ridiculous. The action was so weightless. And anyway, and I've been watching The Bad Batch, the new animated series. It's a continuation of the Clone Wars, because I did like the Clone Wars. And I liked a lot of Rebels. It got better over the course of the series. It was kind of the storylines kind of matured with the audience a bit. They weren't as kiddie once you got to the late. And so a lot of the stuff in Rebels and Clone Wars and Bad Batch harken back to the pre-Disney days in some of its material and themes. Yeah, so I'm more comfortable with that, although I still sort of hold it in my head as fan fiction to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Jonathan Pierce, I was playing SWOTOR listening to you, a light side smartass smuggler. Well, they don't really give you another option but be a smartass smuggler, because that's pretty much the writing of the smuggler storyline. At least up until the point at which you get to Hut Cartel and the entire storyline's all merged together into one continuous plot line, and the classes are essentially irrelevant as to their specialness. Which, if I have one major complaint about SWOTOR, it's that. They weren't able to maintain the uniqueness of each of the class stories beyond the initial end game content. And then everything after that is homogenized into a single story arc, which makes playing with any of your other characters a complete grind, because you're not seeing anything different than the other one, because it's the exact same story. Sure, you can make different choices, and there's there's a few branching paths in the Fallen Empire arcs and things, but for the most part, it's the same maps, the same missions, the same plot points over and over again, and that becomes a grind. So anyway, we're at the top of the hour, and that's the end of the show as I wax philosophic about a MMORPG that I still kind of play just for kicks. Anyway, Satsu, anything people should know about what you're up to next or where you'll be next?
Just keep watching Twitter. I've been actually doing my outside of YouTube social media stuff. I've been trying to pick up on that. You guys seen from that series of videos that I put out for my school assignment. So TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. If you aren't following me on all of those, be sure. Fam 2 cents, FAM, the number 2 CENTS. No spaces on either one of those. I've been trying to pick up my social media presence, and it's been working out. I've been getting a lot of hits and stuff on all those websites and stuff because I'm putting actual effort into it. So just be looking out for that. Otherwise, I'll be here tomorrow night on my channel.
Yep. And as for myself, same. I'll be on Satsu's channel tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for the next episode of Lords of the Night. So looking forward to seeing you guys there. And then Thursday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern will be another episode of TED Excellence, where I'll go over another presentation of educational, philosophical, sociological amazement from our friends at TEDx. Texcellence. Yeah. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. You guys are the greatest audience in the world. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very little to do. Everyone who donated, thank you. Thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. And Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
Yep.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
And taking out my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism.
Oh,
wow, that was enthusiastic. And today's secret word is sorcery.
Aha. How relevant.
And I go, abra cadabra.